He just actually saw this letter from Eric Holder moments ago. We watched it happen. His aide finally got it and gave it to him. Senator, it's literally 3 sentences long, and he says that the answer to your question about can Americans be killed on U.S. soil, and the answer is no. Are you satisfied?
I'm quite happy with the answer, and I'm disappointed it took a month and a half and a root canal to get it, but we did get the answer, and that's what I've been asking all along, and it really is what the Senate should be about: advise and consent and find out what policies are. I have a feeling, since this was so difficult, that I never would have gotten this with routine letters to the White House. So through the advise and consent process, I've gotten an important answer. This means that if you live in America, your Fifth Amendment isn't something that's optional. If someone wants to arrest you, if you're not involved in combat in our country, what he's saying now publicly is no president. So, because I think the words bind everyone, not just this president, but it's the understanding of the presidency that they can't kill people without some kind of due process.
So just to be clear, you're announcing right here on CNN that you are going to let John Brennan's nomination now go through. Maybe they could even hold a vote today?
Yes, we'll hold it as soon as people want to now. Really, the whole thing is not just to be spiteful, to hold up things. Sometimes people get the misimpression that, oh, you're doing things just because you don't like the president. I've actually voted for several of the president's nominees, including Chuck Hagel. But I've asked for information, which I think is this give and take of trying to get information, which is important. But I think letting the vote go really is inconsequential. I won't make people wait till Saturday. If I hadn't got an answer, I might. But the thing is that you use the leverage of your position and the procedures up here, I think, for a greater good. So a lot of people complain, oh, obstructionism. Well, this is an example, I think, of trying to do something you really strongly believe in, but a lot of Americans sent us letters and emails and Twitter. People were excited that we were standing up for something that's important to a lot of people.
As you were coming over here, right after you saw this letter, I saw some people coming up to get your autograph. I mean, no offense, politicians generally don't get their autographs asked for.
Well, what was cool was it was the congressional record. So it was a congressional record from yesterday. It was pretty big. I can't imagine the whole thing was me, but somebody said the budget was in there too.
It might have been. It might have been. And just one other thing. Earlier on the floor, I'm not sure if you were able to hear your Republican colleagues, John McCain and Lindsey Graham, really going off on your position on this. Now, the point they were making is that maybe you have long held this position when it comes to civil liberties versus maybe the more hawkish angle side of your party, like McCain and Graham, but that others who were sort of late to the game last night maybe are doing it for more political reasons, maybe even your senior senator from Kentucky.
You know, I think they're mistaken to be dismissive of this fight. This was a fight really for Fifth Amendment protections, that no one should be arrested in our country under arbitrary charges. And this is really the problem with their position. Their position is that the whole world is a battlefield, including America, and that the laws of war apply to America. In war, you don't get due process. If you're in Afghanistan, you're Americans shooting at our soldiers, they can shoot you. They don't ask for a warrant. But in our country, you do have due process. So our country isn't a battlefield with no laws. In fact, our soldiers are sent to Afghanistan to fight for our Bill of Rights and fight for our Constitution. So when they're dismissive of these rules and protections here, I think they're missing what the public is really interested in.
One last question. What are you going to do when it comes to John Brennan? I know you're going to allow this vote to go through procedurally. Will you vote for him like you did for Chuck Hagel and John Kerry?
You know, that's still a debate in my mind. Nobody quite understands it if I do that, because I fought so long and fought for 13 hours, and I haven't fully made up my mind.
So you might vote for him?
Well, you know, I'm still thinking about it and talking about it with staff, because the thing is I was fighting hard for this information.
Right.
I was fighting hard for a constitutional protection and get admission from the White House that they will obey the Constitution. So I kind of won my battle. Now, there is some debate over whether Brennan should be heading the CIA since he's been in charge of this program, that I do have some fault with this program. But then the question becomes, it's a presidential appointee, and it's...
and you've long said that presidents should get the people they want.
Some deference. So there's a question of what rises to a level where you oppose a nomination. Now, there is some question whether or not what are the full opinions of Brennan concerning the drone program here and abroad that I'm still thinking through as far as deciding it. But I've kept an open mind all along because this battle has never been about the president being a Democrat or whether these appointments are by a Democrat president. To me, it's about whether or not there are constitutional principles that might be overturned by the nominee.
Senator, thank you. I know you've got a lot of work to do, and I appreciate you coming on. And I'm guessing we'll see you on the floor voting pretty soon now that you've let it happen. Thank you very much.